Hey everyone, sorry for getting started a couple of minutes late. I was having um, some technical issues. For some reason, Chrome is convinced that my headset and webcam are in use, even though nothing is using it. Uh, and then Edge was having the same issue, but then I managed to convince Edge that it's all good. So we're good now. But I apologize for the technical issues. Welcome. So for this week, we're going to be exploring some. So let me pull it up. But I just restarted my computer, so give me a second. Um, no, not the announcement I'm looking for, but Libre Office just started. Just announced that they're going to start supporting some live collaboration. I haven't been able to get access to the preview build yet, but it looks like they're going to be allowing like live. So if you've ever used Word or Office, like Microsoft Office, it has what they call co-authoring, which allows you to do um, like live co-editing. So like when I'm making changes, someone else can also see the changes simultaneously. Like 2 years ago, I published a framework called XLS entanglement. It was how to use that as a command and control framework, which I'll give you guys the link. So but it ran into some limitations, specifically when you try to use this when you try to do XLS entanglement in an enterprise environment, it turns out that you can't actually the enterprise environments and residential stuff are not actually co-compatible. So like when you have OneDrive on your personal computer and then you go to work or some business and they also have OneDrive, those are actually two entirely separate products that have no cross compatibility. So like you can't use a Office 365 for home account with an Office 365 business account and vice versa. So trying to add users to an Office account stealthily is like impossible, and you can't do anonymous editing in enterprise accounts. So when you send with enterprise accounts, so like when you try to send a Office file using this XLS entanglement stuff, which here, let me open this white paper so you guys can see it. Using some of this stuff, basically, it doesn't work unless you have a ability to log the person into a Office 365 for home account, which limits the ability, like the usefulness of it. But basically, when you have OneDrive, it turns out that if someone if you write your macros in a specific way, you can actually make it so that like if you're editing from an Office 365 like online portal and someone has it open on a standalone desktop version like most businesses use, you could reflectively inject code that would then allow you to use Office 365 products as a command and control framework. That was a long way of saying that like that command and control stuff, but what we're going to try and do is actually see if there's any possibility to do this with like Office Libre, or there's another project called Collabora. Yeah, Collabora. I don't know how to pronounce it. That also allows online editing. It looks like I did a little bit of investigation into theirs, but it looks like it doesn't work because as soon as you try to take it, because they do offer live co-authoring, but as soon as you take it they offer a local, just like Office does, they offer a like local software download that you can use, or you can do the online collaborative editing. But they don't allow the hybrid where the one person can be on the desktop application and another person can be in the online thing. As soon as someone opens it in the desktop application, it no longer allows collaborative editing. And then LibreOffice does allow some stuff, but there's some issues with it as well that I'll show you guys. So let's see. I know that was a lot of like just kind of me stream of conscious stuff right there. But so this is like the attack chain that I showed as a proof of concept that we ended up publishing for the XLS entanglement stuff. Basically, the other thing that comes up a lot in macros is macros can't change their own settings. So basically, there's a configuration setting in Office that I'm totally blanking on the name of it. It's in the paper somewhere. There's a security setting that prevents reflective injection of macros. And you can't edit it from within the Word. Like if you try to do it for Word, you can't do it within a Word document. But a Word document can modify the registry settings for an Excel document. So you set up the phishing document that opens the maldoc that that changes the stuff on the that changes the settings in like Excel that then pulls down the maldoc and logs in the person to it, and then you can use the co-authoring stuff. Once it's up and running, like if you convince someone to or have a way of getting it loaded on the computer, it works very well. It's just the initial infection chain is quite difficult to get into practicality. So that's that. Like, but if you've never looked at it, we zoomed in too far. But if you never looked at it before, VBA, now that Microsoft has VBAs like hard disabled by default and made it very hard to get around it, it's like a lot of the VBA stuff has died off, although there's still some APTs that are using it. But VBA is actually like a fully fledged, as much as the programming language is painful. Like you can do everything that you can do in like C# or PowerShell or whatever. Like it supports pinvoke, which are these things up top, so you can access like Win32 APIs directly from VBA. You can do all that kind of stuff, and a lot of this. Unfortunately, I have played a little bit with the Office Libre stuff, and it is not quite. It does not support like the pinvoke and stuff for macros. It does support some stuff, but not the pinvoke. But it does support Python, so there's lots of options there if we can get this collaborative stuff going on. So let's go back to doing that now that we spent all that time talking about it. So we can open LibreOffice. Yeah, so LibreOffice does support this shared mode. Like you can see where I was entering like a few random things. So I have it opened on this VM, and then I'm going to open it on my other Excel. No, not LibreOffice. So I have it hosted on a share drive. There are some interesting things that you can do, like potentially hosting stuff yourself. Like you don't have to put it into OneDrive. So you can see this stuff. Like I removed the stuff from this one, like deleted them all, but they're still in this one. What'll happen is if I save here, it'll save there, and then we won't see the updates here. So like if I just put Hubble here, I hit save, it should merge the changes automatically. That's what it was doing earlier. Yeah, so you see like the changes do get merged, so there is some kind of collaboration. But it means that we have to have so like we get this pop-up when we're here, and for some reason, see, it's there. It's kind of funky, but there, because that works, there is some opportunity for us to potentially do this, because we do have the ability to add macros to this, which means like macros have built-in abilities to save a document, which means that we can force a save to force the updates. So we may be able to work that. Unfortunately, when I was trying to test some stuff earlier, I don't know that you can co-author documents through like online stuff, because like OneDrive does support going to the like OneDrive does support open Office documents, but it doesn't look like the collaborative stuff works if you open it in like Office 365. So we'll have to see. We'll have to play around with some stuff. But oh, we got a question from someone. So let's see. It just says, "Hey, I'm wanting to go into cybersecurity, major in college. So if you want to get into, so I'm gonna tell you two things about. I'll put up your question. Two things about cybersecurity stuff. First is I'd really research where you're going for cybersecurity. A lot of the cybersecurity majors are not particularly well respected in the industry right now. It's not necessarily the colleges are bad. There's just a heavy preference for real life like demonstration of aptitude through either certs or projects, and a lot of companies haven't figured it out. The other limitation is if you try to go somewhere that's more engineering focused, like if you want to get into embedded systems, cybersecurity is not considered a technical degree by a lot of hiring managers. So there's just another thing to consider. Like you might want to look at going into computer science is the first part of that instead, because you can still focus on the security stuff without having that limitation of not having a like quote unquote technical degree. I just know like I used to be a manager at Boeing, and it was a major issue for us. Like the HR people wouldn't let us hire people with cybersecurity degrees as engineers, even though we were hiring them to do security work and they had a cybersecurity degree. It was just a limitation that HR had. But for getting into stuff that's like free, try Hack Me is probably the best website. It is easy and free. Hack the Box is a little more difficult. And then just looking up like talks and stuff and watching streamers like me or other people is also like a good option. Yeah. But yeah, so CS degree is definitely what I would recommend. It leaves the most doors open for you going into post graduation. You have a lot more options. Yeah. So what was he gonna? Oh yeah, we're gonna start playing around with the macro stuff. So first, let's try. This is our macro recorder. No, that's our auto filter. Been a while since I've used LibreOffice. Let me just pull up the instructions on how to do it. Yeah, and feel free to ask more questions as we're going. Tools, macros. Okay, so that's what I thought. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So we've got a macro now. I'm interested to see if the macro actually gets added to the shared document. But we'll see. Let me push this over to the side. Oh, it wants me to, their instructions want it different way. So we're gonna go tools. Yeah, so see, you have basic, you have Bean Shell, you have JavaScript, and you have Python. Basic is their is their kind of semi-compatible with VBA. It's not quite fully the same. It is close, but it's not quite the same. There are differences. So let's see what happens if we just do. Okay, so we get a hello with a warning. So let's close this now and save it and see. I'll just type in. Okay, so we added a macro here. Now we're going to see if I click. Yeah. See, their collaborative stuff is not the most. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try closing this and then reopening it. Yeah, so it's doing like, so you can see here. I don't know why that's staying up. So there's some kind of weirdness where basically it's creating secondary documents that are associated with the user, and then trying to merge the document. So it's not like a true collaboration. And so that's what's causing some of these weird things. Like it's interesting that we can see the documents. We could go play with these in a minute and see. There might be some stuff we can do since when this person has the document open, if we can edit it. But yeah, basically it's locking the document and then just creating a secondary document. So we might be able to do some injection stuff. Could be interesting. But we want to open this one. It says it's in shared mode, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, let's clean this up and make our lives a little easier then. Okay. So we're gonna close this, and it should like auto merge it, but I don't think it's going to. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, so it looks like the LibreOffice collab sharing is very finicky. Okay, so this is on our desktop. We'll open LibreOffice on our demo here. Has anyone seen any more investigation into the Python stuff that Microsoft now supports? They're running Jupyter notebooks for the modules in the background, which seems like it was pretty hard to do anything with, but it is a full Linux machine that is running the code. Like last time I inspected, we were able to at least start enumerating the file structure and like escaped the controlled files, but we couldn't escape the Jupyter notebook. So it was like interesting, but I don't know that anything like you're gonna be able to do really anything super cool with it. Why is my, so we open this document. Okay, so the macro is here. That's interesting. We didn't get a macro pop up when we. Wait, this is different than the one we. It showed the added macro when we first opened this. Why is this not? Okay, apparently adding macros definitely breaks this. Oh, it looks like when there's macros in the document, we can wait. Hold on. It looks like it might not be. Hold on. Let's see if we okay, it says we're in shared mode. Let's try opening this again. Huh. That's odd. That's not a limitation that they mention in the documentation for this. So this might just be DOA. So let's try closing it and opening it again on this desktop. Oh, weird. It says it's still locked by another user. Oh, it opened by default into our... That's what happened. Okay, hold on. I just double-clicked it, and LibreOffice Microsoft Office automatically opened it. That's what happened. And when Office opened it, it locked it. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we're gonna have to go to Tools, Macros. I have to go to Security Settings in here first. Because right now we'll look around ways to get past the macros, but we need to we want tools, options, advanced. I don't see advanced. Oh, advanced. Does anyone know? I'm so bad at LibreOffice. Let's see, does anyone? Oh, so what I'm drinking this week, since someone asked, is Bomberger's 2024 release. My dad managed to get it for me, which is really cool. I really like this stuff. It's from the oh man, why am I Heaven Hill Distillery? But it's I really like it, so it's something I'm enjoying this week. It's a little on the lower end of the proof spectrum for what I drink, at 108 proof. So, but I've been the like 100, 105 proof range has kind of been growing on me instead of like always going for the cask strength stuff. So definitely going well. Definitely enjoying it. So let me finish figuring out. Macros. Okay, so I thought I was in the right place. There should be a security button, a security setting. Oh, there we go. Macro security. We'll just put it on low for now. Wait. Okay, so let's reload this. Okay, so let's reload this now and see if that worked. Oh. Okay, cool. So we don't have that now. If we go to tools, oh, we want to go to our macros. Okay, so it runs here now. Let's reopen it here. Oh, and that's good. Changing our macro settings in one thing did not change the macro settings here. So that's a positive thing. Well, positive from a security standpoint, not positive from ours. But so one of the things that I do know is interesting that we'll have to play around with the last time I investigated this that I haven't tested yet is you can create a LibreOffice portable version, and the macro settings are not based on the local install; they're based on the settings in that transportable version. So you could theoretically create a malicious payload that has like the LibreOffice stuff pre-packaged with all the settings set for you, like pull it down and then start running it, which adds complexity and some abilities to get caught. But like it's such an unusual attack style that like if we start getting this to work, that maybe it's like worthwhile doing. But we will see. First, we want to see if we can get this working. Because the reason we didn't do this, I didn't do this before, is because there was no methodology for this kind of collab last time I was looking at this a couple of years ago. So I just saw the announcement. It was interesting. Okay, cool. So we got that working now. So next for LibreOffice, we're gonna make an auto run macro. Okay, so we're gonna try making a new macro. So a lot of times you can just name them document open. So let's just try that. Okay, so we've got our macro. We'll just run it just to make sure that it does in fact run. Okay. So we will go ahead and close this. We will then save it and close. And the interesting thing is going to be to see if the macro gets automatically added to our other one. We did not get an auto run. Wait, here, let's at least see if it's, when we go to save this, if the changes get merged. So I saved it. Let's go to our tools and go look at our macros. No, so it wasn't added. So let's see if we close the document. Oh, we did. It did. Wait. Oh, no, never mind. So our macros are saved there. They're still not here. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, and that should have been, I misspelled that. But okay, so we did finally get the update. So now let's see if we open it on my desktop again. No, we still don't have any macros, which is weird. So maybe the document has to be closed to merge in. Like this document has to close to result in the merge. Okay, so we closed it. Unless it just didn't save last time, and maybe that's why our auto open didn't work either. I guess I should have checked that. Oh, yeah, it looks like our macros weren't saved last time. Okay, so now if we go to our macros, let's just confirm that it is in fact in there. Okay, so we do have our auto open macro in there now. But I think the main conclusion that we're coming to so far in this investigation is that this is not a very stable collaborative update, and probably not going to be the most useful thing from an attacker perspective. Oh, it disappeared again. Why is it not saving here? Okay, so it's there now. Go check our... Okay. Okay, so I hit save a bunch of times. If it didn't save, there's definitely something wrong with the Libre office. Like the way they do stuff. Okay, well that's saved, so we know that that was there. Okay, we didn't get the document open, but at least they're both there this time. Okay, so that at least worked this time. Okay, let's look up how to do Libre Office auto open macros again. So do we have to? Does anyone remember how to do this in Libre Office? Okay, it looks like we're supposed to assign the macros. Ah, okay. Assign. I don't know how I was missing that last time. Wait, what? Events. We'll just name this assigned to make sure that it's saved. Okay. And now let's see if we can get this to run. Hopefully when we open this time, we'll get a pop-up. Yep, okay, cool. So now that's running. What I'm worried about is that from an attacker standpoint, is that this may be tied to our Libre Office installation and not the file. Okay. Cool. So that it did update to our assigned stuff. So that part's working now. But we didn't get a macro. Okay. So we're just going to modify this macro to make sure that macro updates are actually synced. So save. Okay. So we once again got the saves merged. So we got the testing. So make this updated. So it looks like we may, oh, there we go. Yeah, it may just take a minute. Okay, so we got the updated but our macro didn't update. So it looks like maybe macros are not saved, in which case this is kind of DOA. Yeah, so that says updated. There are still potentially some things we can do because we don't actually have to update the macros directly with the. So since we have like LibreOffice, like we'll close this. So we can create some code, especially if we port over to Python instead of using this, where we just drop code into these values. And since we can get these values to update, we just save the document every so often, like every 10 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that. It'll port the changes in, and then it'll read the code and reflectively run it, because that's what you can do with Python. But the fact that the macros kind of aren't staying aligned is like a little concerning, just because everything might not work properly. So let's just try closing this and reopening. Uh-oh. So we had some kind of divergence happen again. So that might be what our issue is. What's weird is when, okay, so we're opening those both, and they're both saved. Like I'm opening this from here. Oh, whoops, that opened with Word. Or with Office. Oh, no, not Excel. Oh, we didn't get our macro auto open. Huh. Okay, so maybe when we had our divergence, it's this one that has the updated stuff. That opened with LibreOffice. Huh. So we lost our auto open. It looks like it got overwritten. Okay, so let's try this then. Let's skip the auto to trying to sync them simultaneously. And let's just assign the auto open in the macro here and see if it clicks there. Oh, dang it, I keep opening it in Word. Or Office, I mean. So we'll save it, closed out of it. Let's try opening again, see if it works. We had it work once when we tested it. Why is it not working now? Sorry, I haven't checked if there were any questions in a minute. Nope. Okay, this isn't making any sense, everyone. So we want to assign a macro. To open the document. We want to save it there. Okay, so we have that. We click assign. If we go look at it, it should still be there when we go events. Yeah, okay. So close, save the document. Keep pushing the wrong thing. Okay, so we're still assigned. So now we close this. It was all saved. Okay, we got our auto open now. So let's try going back over here and opening it. Oh, okay. So it did sync that time. We just had some kind of step on each other. So we did at least confirm that the macros are not tied to the installation. So we made some progress on this. Little frustrating every once in a while, but we did get it done at least. Yep, progress. Unfortunately, this is how doing offensive security research goes. Is it's a lot of trial and error with stuff that doesn't always work as you expected. Okay, so we've got the auto assign. So we've got that work, which means theoretically the other stuff should auto update. I don't know why that is such an issue. But we are only streaming an hour, but I'll be back today, but I'll be back next week. We might do a little bit longer stream next week, so we don't have any stuff. But does anyone have any like questions on what happened or what we did today? Actually, I guess we got like 10 minutes left. We can play around a little bit longer. So let's see. So let's try adding a Python macro for fun. Because I think you can actually have more than one type of macro. No, that's not what we want. We want to organize the macros. Macros, organize, Python. Oh, maybe you can't have more than one type of macro. Well, let me click create. Okay. So let's create a new document then. Huh. Why won't it let me add a Python macro? I know Python's installed on this box. Oh, we might not have the script provider for LibreOffice, but it should be in Windows. And I know, like I said, I know Python. Oh, maybe we'll just go back to basic. Okay, so if we want to be able to make this work, we need to be able to execute some kind of arbitrary code or write file stuff. So we need to find. Let's just see if LibreOffice Basic has like a coding manual. Command reference. This is what we want. Alphabetical list. Okay. So we have some C functions, it looks like. Let's see if we can create a just dynamic LibreOffice macro. Let's see, it is LibreOffice Basic Support Reflect. Let's see if we can call a PowerShell script from LibreOffice Basic. Because if we can do that, then we've got, it means that we've got some options. Oh, so it does have shell. Oh, this is what we want. The object model reference documentation. Oh no, they want the com object off it. Arguments. So shell does let us start hidden windows, which is always fun. But I think we're going to call it a day here. I'm going to have to do some more research and see if I can bring some stuff back. Definitely some interesting possibilities, especially if they go to live collaboration. Right now, it seems a little limited. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to work how I wanted it to. Like the XLS entanglement stuff. But it was worth a try and worth keeping an eye on. So we'll definitely look into it more going forward. I may work on it more next week if I've made some progress and think it might actually be useful over the weekend. Otherwise, we'll work on another, look at something else next week. If anyone has any requests, feel free to ping us on our Discord. And if you didn't see today, we like a cool thing that's going to be going on at Black Hat this year is we're going to be teaching an aviation hacking class. So I no longer work with Boeing, and it's been long enough that I can that I don't have a conflict of interest anymore. So we can start teaching some of the stuff that Anthony and I have learned with aviation hacking stuff in terms of bus protocol abuse and all those fun things. We'll be going over like Mod 3, probably A rank 429, maybe Mil Standard 1553 for satellites. We're trying to decide which bus protocol we think is the most common for satellites. Some civilian satellites use Mil Standard 1553. Some other ones use like CAN bus. Like a couple others use some of the A rank standard. Figure out which one. But we are going to try and do manufacturing aircraft one, and then like a satellite one. So it'll be a pretty cool class. Be 4 days long, so don't feel free to check it out. But thanks everyone for joining, and here I'll drop a link for everyone if they want it for the course. Unfortunately, this isn't the Libre Office stuff. Looks like it's still going to be a bit of a of outside of what we want it to do, but that's part of the realities of doing research is it doesn't always work out how we want. But so if you go check this out, that'll be our aviation security boot camp for Black Hat this year. Everyone have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. So thanks for joining.